Hi scientists! In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a very simple at-home experiment. If you have the materials for this experiment at home, I'd like you to do it too. But if not, you can just follow along and fill out your lab report while I show you the experiment. So this experiment involves beans and how fast they grow. We're going to be filling out the lab report that was found on your modules page. On the My Experiment Beans page that looks like this. So I will be filling this out along with you, and feel free to pause the video whenever you need to see what I'm writing. So our first step is the testable question. The testable question we're going to answer is, how does the type of bean affect how fast it grows? So I'm going to say, how does, you can erase changing, how does the type of bean I'm going to make sure it's highlighted in yellow because that will help us later, affect how fast it grows. Go ahead and get rid of those extra lines. So that's our question. So I've chosen 3 different types of beans, and I got these beans from a bag of mixed bean soup. Notice they are dry beans, not in a can. So I chose 3 beans. I have this small dark brown bean, I have a big white bean, and I have a larger brown bean. And I'm going to use 3 of each of them. So I'm going to use 9 total. I have 3 of these, 3 of these, and 3 of these. And since I think some of these are bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and think that the larger the bean, so the largest bean are these. I think that the largest beans are going to grow fastest. So that's what I'm going to put for my hypothesis. So my hypothesis, if the bean is larger, then it will grow faster. That's my hypothesis. The next step is to identify our variables. So that's why I highlighted things in yellow and in blue. So the first half of our testable question, that tells us our independent variable. Our independent variable is going to be the type of bean. That is what we are changing in this experiment. So we have different types of beans. The dependent variable is what I highlighted in blue. How fast it grows. Now, the control variable is going to be everything else that we keep the same. So one thing that beans or seeds need to grow is water. So one of the controls is going to be the amount of water. Another thing I know that plants need to grow is sunlight. So I'm also going to give them the same amount of sunlight. So those are my variables. Let's move on to the materials. For this experiment, I'm going to need 9 beans, a ruler, 3 paper towels, some water, 3 plastic bags, and that's it. So let's write those down. 9 beans, a ruler, 3 paper towels, water, 3 plastic bags. Now let me show you how I'm going to set this experiment up. So first you'll notice I have my paper towels folded in half. My first step is I'm going to get these paper towels soaking wet. I need to give them water. So I'm going to put water in this tub. And I'm going to put the paper towels in them. Getting my paper towels wet because this is how I'm going to make sure my beans get water. Now I'm going to take one wet paper towel and take the three white beans. I'm going to make sure my paper towel is small enough to fit in my bag. So I'm going to fold this one more time. And I'm going to put my beans on it. Open up my bag. And carefully put the wet paper towel and beans inside the bag. I'm going to space them out so they have a lot of room to grow. And I'm going to squeeze the air out. Okay, so they'll stay in place and they have plenty of water. And I'm going to repeat this with the other 2 types of beans. Might be easier to put my paper towel in first. Okay, so now I have my experiment set up. So these beans should all start to grow roots, but it's going to take time. So we're going to have to wait at least 3 days. So by the time we come back on Monday, we should have something to measure. But let's fill out our materials and our procedure and let's make a data table. So the first step of my procedure was to wet the paper towels and fold them. Then I can put each paper towel in a plastic bag. Then I put 3 white beans on the paper towel in one bag. Put 3 small brown beans on the paper towel in another bag. And I put 3 large brown beans on the paper towel in the third bag. Now I'm going to wait at least 3 days for the seeds to sprout. When we come back next weekend, we'll have to finish this, and our next step will be to measure the length of the root in centimeters each day for 3 days. Okay, now let's make our data table and make sure it's ready to go for next week when we come back. So now I have to go up to Insert, Table. So I have 3 different types of beans and I need 1 row on top to label. And then I'm gonna measure these beans for at least 3 days. So we're gonna do 4 by 4. My data table went on to the next page, so I'm gonna fix that. Okay, so this will be our beans column. White beans, small brown beans, large brown beans. And this will be day 1 length in centimeters, day 2 length in centimeters, and day 3 length in centimeters. Okay, that's our data table. We'll come back to this on Monday next week and finish our experiment.